first Friday in November Follies Live that I promised you all earlier in the week. Um, and I said I would be here tonight at 7. So here I am. And I got a few things I want to talk about on this live. I want to wait and give some of my people time to be able to come in on this live so we can all say, hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing this week? I hope everybody's had a very safe and blessed work and weekday week, um, business day week, as they call it. Um, and while I'm waiting to have some more people come in, I'm going to, first of all, extend season's greetings to everybody. I don't think I've been here on my social media over the last, about a week since Halloween. So now that we've made it past Halloween, we are now officially in our 2025 holiday season. So, season's greetings, everyone. And the next thing I wanted to talk about as people are coming in. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight, this evening. Um, I want to talk about this, what I posted earlier this week about these cholesterol and high blood pressure medications that are on recall now. As I said to you all early, and all of my social media has been pretty well throughout my social media tenure on here for 15 years, whether it be my Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, which I think Facebook is my oldest one. That was like the first one that I started. So from then till now, you all have seen me and my efforts to take care of my parents in their final years here on earth with me. And one of the main obstacles that I had was, as I said before, both of my parents had high blood pressure, and high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol runs through both sides of my family, my paternal and maternal side. So that was definitely going to be an issue. More than likely, I was going to have to address, and you all know how um, I've had to deal with that scenario. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Hey. So, in my struggles with my blood pressure situation, these recalls that are out here now, um, and they have the nerve in the United States government to make us, or try to make us believe that these medications are miracle medications, miracle drugs. Hey, everyone, how y'all doing? Which I definitely won't call them miracle drugs, but I would call them, maybe at the very least, life sustaining medications. Well, now we have a whole bunch of them that are on recall for causing all kinds of things, and those side effects that come along with taking these medications and putting these foreign ingredients in our bodies. They have recalls. Some I saw were the statins, and those are pretty much for blood pressure and cholesterol issues. And you can definitely find a list of them. I was doing the list of the recalls, but they have gotten so massive and just large. The list grows every day. So if you all want information on how to go and get the information, where I found my information from, then feel free to send me a message, comment, reply, response, whatever they want to call it nowadays. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about, these medications on these cholesterol and blood pressure medications that are just crawling out of the woodwork now. All these recalls, it's like I said, the number has just grown vast between our fruits and vegetables and just our everyday shopping things to, cribs and toys and things for our children, and just products, period, have started getting a lot of recalls. So you can stay tuned. I normally, when I get the information, I post it on my social media platforms. I try to get it on all of them, but sometimes that's not possible with the way my schedule and everything works. But I definitely try. And anybody that's been following me, I have posted consumer reports, recall information, and all that other type of stuff. So that part goes without even being said. But yeah, I want all of my social media people to be aware of these prescriptions and that there all are recalls on them. So please, 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 any prescriptions that you're taking, please. And I know this sounds redundant, but it's really not in these scenarios. Please do your research on the medications, because these medications, and you have to keep up to date with it, because they may give you certain things to look out for when you originally get the prescription, but they're constantly like adding things to them and just making it a very toxic prescription environment for, I guess, mainly our seniors. But in any case, stay abreast of your recalls, especially on your fruits and veggies and your medications, because these are the things that seems like to me are being more and more recalled. So that's what I wanted to talk about that. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Are y'all subscribers? I think so. We got what? Let me see. Brennan Johnson. Hey, how are you? N50, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Avion, how are you? And Blockman125, how are you? How y'all doing? And so, let me see. I'm trying to wave at y'all. But in any case, let me move on to my next topic of discussion, which was the 89-year-old actress Diane Ladd, who passed away this week. I want to send my prayers and condolences to her family, her daughter, Laura Dern, who is definitely an actress just like her mom. But Diane Ladd, um, I think the best memory I have of her was when she was on Alice, and she had a tough act to follow with Florence Jean Castleberry at Mel's Diner, but she did a great job, and that's what drew my attention to her as an actress. So, of course, there are several things since then that she had been in, but that's the one that came to top of mind when I heard of her passing this week, and I wanted to give my prayers and condolences to her family and friends and fans. Um, and another loss this week really hit a little bit closer to home for me because of the fact that Dallas Cowboys is, as a lot of people already know, my football team as far as the NFL goes. Close second is Pittsburgh Steelers, but I heard it from my father, a love for Dallas Cowboys. So I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. Lois, so relatable. Lois, so relatable. How are you? My testimony, which part of my testimony would you like for me to share, sweetheart? Yes, Jesus definitely loves me and all of us. That's why we're supposed to pray for each other and love one another so much. Yes. Amen. Amen. So we're going to say hey to Lois, so relatable. Thank you, sweetheart. Prayers going right back to you. The only testimony that I can think of you may want me to share is the unaliving of my daughter 15 years ago. Um, but you all have already heard that story. And if not, feel free to visit my social media platforms, and the information is there. And also, there's still a Tubi documentary called Left for DEAD on Tubi that's still streaming in reference to my daughter, Unique Harris, and Pamela Butler of Washington, D.C., missing person homicide cases. So feel free to go watch on the free streaming Tubi channel. Again, it's called Left, Left, for DEAD. It's also pinned to the top of my social media platforms and definitely throughout my YouTube channel. As far as that um, testimony goes, Lois, so relatable. That is part of it. Of course, I have a whole bunch, but we'll just put that out there and do another plug, I guess, for, yeah. Yes. And on that note, with that information and I guess testimony, um, being out there now, let me move back to my Dallas Cowboys NFL football team. Um, Unfortunately, this week, number 94, Marshawn Nealon, 24-year-old Dallas Cowboy. I think he started in either 2023 or 2024 with the team. Apparently, this 24-year-old man was involved in some type of um, traffic violation or something like that, where the police got involved and he fled. This is the story coming out initially. Of course, we all know these stories can change over time as evidence and facts, data, and information are accumulated by the police department as well as other officials. So I don't want to speak too much on it, but it's been listed so far as he unalived himself at the end of that. I don't want to say, um, let's just say, engagement with law enforcement for whatever his infraction or whatever was. Um, and I want to send prayers and condolences to his family. Um, my daughter Unique was taken from me at the age of 24. So my deepest, heartfelt prayers is going out to Marshawn's mother. I, even being the mother of a 24-year-old unalived daughter, cannot understand or imagine what she's going through now with the passing of her son at 24. It's very difficult and to me unnatural for any parent to have to make final arrangements for their child. That sort of thing just further lets me know how upside down, topsy-turvy, and away from the normal cycle of life that we all, I think, come to accept as the normal cycle of life. A parent proceeding their child in our crossing over or transitioning. So for us parents who have to deal with the unaliving of our children, however it happens, I mean, whether it's a child that has health conditions and pass away, or in self-unaliving, which it seems to me nowadays there is way more than that when I was these ages of 20, 23, 24, 26. Is that statistic to me has just shattered the security of parents. No parent is supposed to have to lay their child to rest. That's supposed to be the other way around. And as you all already know, I still don't even have Unique's remains. Sure, we went through the whole court process, and y'all are going to be able to read about that in my book, as well as, feel free right now to go on any of my other social media platforms and get more insight, because I don't like to beat people over the head with the same story, because sometimes it can be Oh, okay, well, yeah, we heard that 50 times before. Talk about something else. And not to say that that's what navigates um, or positions me as far as where my content goes, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. But I don't like to be personally a woe is me all the type of person. I tell people all the time, I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. Now, my daughter, victim, okay, but not me. Um, I'm a victor, not a victim. And that's how I always approach situations. You all probably already know if you've been on my other social media platforms. I go into warrior mode as opposed to recoiling mode. Um, so, oh no, Lois, my daughter, no, she didn't, not my daughter. It was the 24-year-old number 94 Dallas Cowboy player, Marshawn Nealon, who has passed away at 24, um, allegedly from unaliving himself. So once again, prayers, condolences, healing, comfort, vibes to his family. Um, and did y'all hear about the Peloton bike recalls? Remember the Peloton bikes? It was like, oh, Peloton, Peloton, Peloton. Oh, it'll make you live to be 1,000 years old if you just keep pedaling your Peloton bike. Well, now, y'all, they got a recall on some of those too. So check it out. Follow through with um, your research on, I guess, specifically what models or whatever. But yeah, Peloton bikes got a recall going on. What are those supposed to be like the most healthiest machines and bicycles or, exercise equipment that you could possibly have at one time? I remember one time vividly, those bikes were so expensive. It was crazy. It was insane to me. But I bet y'all they not expensive no more. And you know how they're going to still sell them? For one, because the countries allow them to sell defective products. I've seen them and had some of them before and didn't even know it. And number two, a lot of people are not going to know about the recall, so they're going to keep taking their money and probably get ready to go on a no refund policy too. Just FYI for all of y'all um, in my social media family that don't know some of the tricks that these companies play when they have these recalls. Just because it's a recall don't mean they snatching everything off the shelf and just stop producing. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. They will still produce the product and have us to buy them and get hurt, maimed, whatever, sick. These companies couldn't care less. That's why we have to do our own due diligence, which is what I be telling people all the time. Do your own due diligence because these companies, I don't care what those crazy politicians said back in the day about corporations are people. No, people are people. Corporations are sales agents. That's what they are. And a quick side note before I finish up what I have going on here with my live this evening is I'm going to start posting some um, careers and professions that I have learned over the next, I guess, few years are going to be pretty much non existent due to this AI. The artificial intelligence, they got the ANI, they got the AGI, they got the ASI, and I will break all that stuff down for y'all at a later date. I'm going to put a video together with all those acronyms broken down that I just gave you all, as well as um, the professions and careers that I said are going to be phasing out due to what I like to call the takeover of AI in our world. So, hello, Kevin Vestola. Kevin Vestola. Hey there. Okay. You're going to have to retype another message, Kevin, because I can't quite make out what you're trying to say. But hello and welcome to my weekly live. I told y'all last week I'm going to try to keep this train rolling once a week on Fridays. We'll see what happens. No promises, but so far so good, right? Okay, so the last subject that's on my list for tonight is this whole National Football League wide receiver, AB, named Antonio Brown. So, y'all, apparently, AB was in Dubai. Has been in Dubai for a few months. I guess dipped out of the country. Under the cover of an arrest warrant being about to be issued for his arrest. In reference to, what did it say? In reference to an attempted unalive charge warrant that was issued for him in the United States of America months ago. Months ago. Now, according to news reports, he has been detained in Dubai and brought back to the United States, to New Jersey. But this incident that happened with the pow-powing attempted unaliving happened in Florida. So I want anybody that sees this to tell me if y'all know, because federal law, I'm learning every day. Can somebody tell me why he was detained and captured, for lack of a better word, in Dubai? And taken back to New Jersey when the crime allegedly happened in Florida. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was like Miami. I'm not sure whether it was North Miami, South Miami. I'm not 100% sure it was Miami, but I'm let's just say about 99% sure it was like Miami, Florida, where this incident occurred back in May of 2025. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw that, because earlier this year, 2025, I vividly remember this, in my opinion, cocky, vain, and arrogant Antonio Brown, aka AB. I think he used to play for the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken. I think he used to play for Tampa Bay and then went to Pittsburgh. But y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, for sure, for sure. As I told y'all, Pittsburgh is like my team under Dallas. So they're like number two. And I'm just remembering him just being, but I think before Pittsburgh, it was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me know if I'm wrong, y'all, because this can be a Q&A, but it can also be a just let me know what you know scenario as well. But I recall person, Antonio Brown, National Football League wide receiver, retired. Did he retire or did they get rid of him after that whole Jersey show he put on? And if not, one of his last games in the NFL. And earlier this year, this guy was all over the place, all over social media, talking about his conquests and all this stuff. And it seems about right to me that about early to mid-year, he just dropped off the radar of social media. I mean, he was popping up in my, I guess because I have, um, Pittsburgh listed as my one of my football teams as well. But he was pretty cocky, vain, and arrogant. I'm surprised he even got out of the country as low key as he did. Sounds like somebody smelled an arrest warrant on tap. And remember, all of my social media family, this and all these are alleged charges of an attempted unaliving, if I'm not mistaken, following a nightclub brawl or something like that down in Florida. So I'm definitely going to stay in my interest zone with this story and keep my social media family posted. But on that note, family, we're going to leave that right there. I pray for the family of the person that he supposedly had attempted to unalive, because apparently the guy lived and the guy told a totally different story than what AB told happened. So my curiosity at the details have been piqued, everyone. Yes, they have. And y'all know I'm like a bloodhound once my curiosity is piqued. So I'm not going to be satisfied until I get all the details on that and see how that plays out. I'll definitely keep my social media posted on any information I get, like his court dates or anything like that. So we can all be in on seeing how this whole thing plays out. Because I'm a very firm believer in when you're cocky, vain, and arrogant, after God blesses you with a profession and a career that you can make positive changes and give positive advice to our children out here that are looking up to these athletes, how dare you teach our children to be cocky, vain, and arrogant, and totally, in my opinion, disrespectful of women? How dare you? So I will be watching Antonio Brown's story play out before the media, because I'm sure they're having a field day with this, because I don't think a lot of people that even interviewed him on a professional journalistic level care for his attitude. He was, just, let's just say, a handful. So on that note, everyone, I'm going to say thank you all for joining me. I'll be back next Friday, if God don't say no, around about the same time, 7 o'clock, and I will, but y'all already know that, post it to keep all my social media people informed, so you all can join me. Like I said, we're gonna do a Q&A. Lois, so relatable. Thank you so much for engaging back and forth with me. I can see currently on a positive and constructive note. And feel free to other social media platforms and get the background story on my daughter's case. Unique, Unique Harris, missing from Washington, D.C., 10/10/10, October the 10th, 2010. And you can meet me back here next week, Lois, with some more questions and stuff if you like. And thank you for your prayers, and my prayers going right back to you, as well as everybody in my social media family that is seeing or will see this. Have a safe and blessed weekend. And it's your girl Valencia getting ready to sign off again this week. Ending November the 7th, 2025. See y'all later.